And welcome back to Whipley Hour and day 4 of our Railway Cathedral, can't get my words, which is, this is how we left it on day 3. I thought it was going to be a 2 or 3 day build. It did end up being more than that, but that is okay. So one thing which we need to be conscious of is this part here is going to be supporting the roof. So wobbly like this is not going to help us. So we're going to want to secure that a bit better, and we will be working on, I wonder how you actually get the battery box out. I'm thinking to myself, I want to get these, you literally have to take the bottom off to get it out. That's not going to be good. Huh. Because I was going to say I want to push these wires back in because they're going to be showing quite a lot. Let me see if I'll be able to do it. Let me work on that and we will get straight on because we have 16 stages to do if we want to finish today. So that is the aim. Okay, so this kind of is the last time you're going to be able to access anything. So just check your wiring, make sure your wires are in spot. I've made sure mine are now all placed how they should be. And also anything that might be loose and things like that. I also did have, by the way, a thought about our pigeon here. Maybe it's symbolising a messenger pigeon and it is a statue. How about that for a guess? Alright, we are going to be working very much towards encapsulating this whole base. So the first part we are going to do, I have actually labelled the parts. I don't think we're going to need glue for them, but all these parts look incredibly similar. So I felt it would be better that I label them. So you want to have, doesn't matter which side, it's both the same. So first of all, we are going to start with a we can have an E7, we can have an E8 if I can find one. There's an E8, and we are going to start with a C8, which is that one here. So what you want is the bit like this on the end, like so. You want that to be, as far as I can gather, the further part away. So it's going to go in like so. So it's going in from third up, and push it as far down as you can. And this is actually going to be supporting our roof, which is going to go on a really unusual way. Never seen it go on like that. So next we have our E7, and same thing, make sure that this is facing, as long as it's in the same direction, you're okay. And again, push it all the way down. And then E8 on that end. Pushed all the way down. Okay, a bit more. And this is symbolising, I think, a light, by the way. So you want to pretty much push them so that they're flush with the top, without breaking. There are some spares of this, by the way, these rods, not of the main part. Okay, then we are going to work from the top downwards. We need a C4. You see kind of why I label them, they kind of do look quite the same. Things sticking to other things here. I'm not being careful where I put my stickers. There we go. Followed by an E6, this one here. I'm kind of finding it a bit easier to press down on them once they're in position. to make sure that they are all the way in, followed by a C8, which is this one. So some of them do have the same numbers. Nope, 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 nope. I've lost myself from my train of thought. So C4 is right, followed by 8, which is this one. Can't even get it in. This one here. And E5 is going to be the last one, and then E6. Hopefully I have this right. I labelled them to make sure I didn't make a mistake, and then I still got myself confused. And this one last. And these ones are very much thicker. And make sure make a nice creaking sound, a bit like my bones. Alright, and we are going to put that on here, and that's the last time we're going to touch it for a little bit. So you do want to make sure that I'm going to glue mine in, but what you're doing is you are popping these in to the little slots here. So I'm going to end up gluing mine in, and I'm also going to glue these two parts together. So let's get that underway. I don't like how loose this is, and I think it's going to interfere when we put the roof on, which is the next step. So if I glue this, it will tighten the other one to it as well. So I was going to use their B7000 that they want you to use. Just do it all along. And I'm going to leave this to dry before, well, we're not going to be needing it for a minute anyway. Got a few bits to do to the sides next. So the next time we see the model itself, we are going to be putting the sides on. Which does look, I've never seen it done this way, it does look a little bit of a nightmare, I have to say, but we will see. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. Oh, especially if I get them in the right way. And make sure that they are all the way in. Let me turn this around. Getting on. And I want to make sure that there's no residue on the top here of B7000 as well. So it does not say to glue this in, by the way. This is me, I can kind of see it being a problem. Same with this being so wobbly. So I think I'm going to put something into the base on either side, even if it's just on the outside. And I guess you want it to an extent to be wobbly, but it's actually quite a loose fit. And I don't think we need that. This one's a bit tighter. Might be going on to the B7000 that they gave me. We're going to call it E7000 then. Okay. just make sure that they are flat. Like I can see this one's not flat. It's not all the way in there. So there's my metal ruler. Don't want to break it either. I am going to leave that like that, and we will get on with the other parts, which we need the paper for anyway. Off you go to one side. Okay, so we are starting on the sides. So we have a few pieces here, but before we get that far, we are dealing with a plastic sheet. This does not have a cover on. I tried with the remnants over from the form it came out of. Words are hard. We are just lining up, so there's a small hole here with this one, and then along here. So I'm not sure if it's going to be easier to go through the plastic. Now they have these facing a specific way too, like downwards, so the painted part goes down. So put it in the right one would be good. It might be easier just to pop them through the plastic first. But like I say, there's not a cover on these, and you would have thought of all the ones that you'd probably want is to have a cover on them. These I'm hoping are the same because I did not label them. I don't think they were, you know. But I think they only fit on one anyway. So there's a slightly, I think they're slightly bigger in the middle here. Okay, and that's to hold that in place. And that was step 46, by the way. Putting the, I forgot about saying about that. Putting this on was step 45. Oops. I was so keen to be getting going. Right, 47 is we are doing exactly the same to step 2B. So with it this way, it's identical. You can see why this is going to be a nightmare, can't you, really? And let's see. It's very hard to tell which way they mean when it says the colour to go up or down, because like this one's showing towards here, then surely that one should show towards there. I think it's meant to do that. I'm going to need to take these ones out. I think they need to face the red towards the roof. I think that's where we are. Oh, come back. It did go through, almost. So I think it goes like that. And as these are going to have quite an important role, you know, I think what I'm going to do is put a tad of glue on it. I won't touch this one because I've just got it in there, but I think I'm going to put a bit on this one. Glad I didn't do it before now. I might do it on that one, but from the other side. So, okay, guess I will do it on this one. I want it to come out anyway. It's coming out at this stage when we're doing what we're going to do. It will definitely come out. I've got such unsteady hands. Can't get it in there at all now. There we go. Right, so it's worth probably just gluing these, even if you don't glue the rest. Let's see, is that going to go in there? No. Seems you just want to pick up the wrong ones each time. Okay, and pull these out and turn them around. So I think it's having the red go towards the roof. And I can get this one out. Okay, and that will be finishing this with step 47. So we're zooming along. 12 left. When I can get this one in. My goodness. It wasn't that complicated really. Okay, and 48 is just 2 pieces. A plastic one which will have a cover on, and that is going to go, where is that going to go? I think we need 2 of them for starters and only got 1. But it's going to go under here on this one, and it's got a red on it, and it is red facing this way. I'll go and get another one in a second. Well, in fact, I've got another one in the other pot because we have to do the same to the other side. So I'll go grab that and then I'll get another 2. Okay, come here. Oh, they're different ones. I lied. Okay, so this goes down here with the red facing this way. I guess this is the front then. Okay, let me go grab one of those. Okay, this one goes in here. Not actually that easy to put in. Maybe I'm just tired. Who knows? Almost had it there. I'm sure they're not as difficult as I'm making them out to be, but we got it. Alright, and that's step 48, and we move on to step 49, which is on this side, and we have 2 of these, and again they do have a backing on. So just take the plastic off. And you are facing the coloured side up, so like the opposite of what we have done, but it's a brown colour. No problem. And it's still a tight fit, so. And then we are going, well, this is not in the right place. confusing me now. It's acting like I'm working on the same side, but it's switched on me. Okay, so take this out. So it's going to go down here. How weird. I don't know why they've actually turned the whole... They have though. They've turned the base on me. I don't know why they did that. Not like I need a lot of things to stop my confusions. Right, so I will turn it so that I am in line with what they're talking about. Okay. He could have told me to turn it. And then we have these two, which are going to go tight against here, not that way around there, this way. So well, I didn't put the lid on all that time. Just going to put a dab in the corner. A bit more. This one goes in here. Wood in probably from when I was struggling to get that piece in. Okay, and then the same with this one. On the other side, came out very globuled. And then we move on to 50, which are these little pieces, which I do need to take the stuff off. And this is number 50. And then you turn it. They've turned it back around on me, by the way, the other way now on the picture. And this is how, it doesn't take much to confuse me, but it's better not to confuse me if you can help it. Okay, and that's going to go on here. There's writing on it. I don't know if the writing's at the top or bottom, but there is writing on it. Same with this one. Like so. So let's get those glued in. I'm just going to put a little bit on the wood edge. Let's clean this top. Now it's got tissue stuck to it. Alright, let me go deal with that. Okay. I should have known that anyway, it would have stuck the tissue. Normally I just do it with a knife, crafting knife. I might as well while I'm at this to do these side, because we know that's what's coming. Nice little strand went straight across there. Let's try and get that, shall we? Okay, so on here, like so. So I've got whatever this writing is going towards the bottom, so I'm going to do the same with this one. I don't know what it says. Does it say that there's a difference? I kind of get the impression maybe, Doesn't really say one way or another. Okay, we'll have it at the top. It's probably in a language I just don't know. So let's just give it a 3D effect. Okay. And then we are going to take this off. So we got to 50 pretty quick. What do we reckon? We're on 24 minutes now. So we stand a chance. If this wall goes in quite well, we're definitely finished today. There is always the stress as to whether that's going to happen. Okay, I'm just going to take the rest of these protection covers off. These do not have glass or anything like that in between the windows to make it look like windows. It does not have such a thing. This one did not come off well at all. Just cleaning up some still stuck on there. Not that blowing's probably going to get rid of it, but it's definitely got some on here still. Just didn't clear as well. Very small windows, aren't they? Okay. And those got the bottom here. So I probably want to put them on here. In fact, I think we can risk it for a biscuit. And not put it on the board like I just did. But put it on here, and as long as it goes in the corners I think we'd be okay. And then the same with this side, and you can kind of see what they're going for here. And with the arches upright, I think. So those are just going to go flat on there. Make sure that they're all the way into the edges. Okay. Put some glue on there. Right, same with these. These should be a bit easier to come off, not tiny, tiny pieces. And then we have to do identical to the other side. Identical. So, I mean, whether I... Shall we do it again? I'm trying to think of how much. You can always skip, right? And it's got the numbers, so I will rejoin it from number. So it starts at 51 on the other side, and it finishes, I'll tell you in a second. And then if you want to skip, you can, because it is literally going to be the opposite of what we're doing. And it finishes at number, I think, probably 53. Yeah, 53. Okay, so these two go in here. So again, this is on the plastic stuff, so it's more shiny. I would have thought they'd do that with that bottom piece, wouldn't you? But they didn't. Have like plastic behind it or something. Probably doesn't get hardly seen actually. Okay. And this one here, and it does have a little guideline underneath, so you might be able to see here. There's a little guideline going around, a little black. It's a black one. It's very faint. That is going around there. So just to make sure that you are on par. And then, like I say, the next step is 51, and we are going to do a mirror image from here onto here. So one, I haven't got the pieces yet, so if you want to skip and not see the duplicate because you are feeling confident, and I don't blame you, then you can skip to 54. 54 takes us on to the next stage, which will be duplicated again. It's working from one side to the other side, and then we get to the scary part. 45 is starting to attach these walls. Scary, right? Okay, so step 51. I have taken the backing off of these already, by the way. So you want to make sure you are facing towards this way, so your red is away from where the screen is, pointing towards the edge away from here. Then we have two of the red ones, and again they are going to point upwards. Getting this down now. Yes, I was checking myself then. Make sure I wasn't getting too cocky. And that, my friends, is at step. What step am I on? Step 51. Well, we are zooming through, aren't we? Now we are going to do 52. So I had a break on one of these plastic things. And I can't believe it's because I took off the backing. That would be weird. They would be that wimpy. So it's not going to make much difference. I'm just going to add a tad of glue in here. And to put this one on in 1 second. So pattern again facing upwards. So you see. Can you see? You can kind of see, right? Yeah, it reflects. And then while I've got the glue out, we will put these on, which are going to go on here. I'm trying to think where I was putting them now. I've got myself a little bit displaced on direction. So I'm going to put this against here, put this one in, let's do it the right way though, shall we? So those pieces marry up would be good. Okay. Then our next piece of wood, and that will be 52 done. Speeding along. Which is quite worrying because that means we're getting very close to putting these on. I reckon anyone who's a drinker, and they get this roof put on perfectly, first time, you treat yourself to whatever your beverage is. And then we are on 53. I'm really zooming ahead. Oops. Press something weird on my computer. Sorry about that. If it changed for you, I don't know. Definitely changed for me. And here we are with these little things again. So like I say, I have already taken off all the plastic this time. And you know, it was very satisfying, because I could do it in one big sweep and add little bits in, little pieces. Everyone has something, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one with it. I also like, by the way, you know, the bubble wrap. Popping those bubbles. And yeah, I'm really sensitive to noise, so it's kind of surprising. Maybe it's because when I'm doing it, it's okay. One of those pain in the neck people. Alright for me to do it as long as it's not anyone else's. Not that I'm really a complainer, because I'm really not. I'm just going to pop it into the corners. Didn't quite go in the corner there. Okay. Right, get our work cut out now. So like I say, this is a step 53. Okay, and make sure that these are upright. And that one goes in here. Give this a bit of extra support. This plastic that broke as well. It was quite surprising it had a break, to be honest. There we go, it did. Let's make sure that those are on okay. This looks right. So where is the other one? It is not in my pot. What did I do with it? Did I forget to take it? I will go gather. Okay, I found it. It was on the floor. Lucky dog didn't get it. She was just being fed too. Okay, and that one goes in here. Right, I have to go and reward her for eating well because she has days where she doesn't. So I will be back in 2 ticks for you. She is so cute. She is so very excited. Alright, so this is step 54. I don't think it matters whether you're working on this side or this side. Same principle, 55 is identical. So, first things first, I will say, go very careful with these pieces. They're concertina, which means they break. So, I'm not sure we need glue for any of this. We do not. Rid of that for a moment. Okay, so first things first, we are going to take this piece and with the, doesn't say which side should be up or down. Huh. Let's see, let me see where it's going. So it's going to go like here, so we want that up. I think this is where I'm not so good with my ups and downs. Not my ups and downs, I know exactly what my ups and downs are, but my how I visualise things. Sometimes I'm darn excellent. Okay. How would that even work? And what's the point of putting those on there? I mean, I understand this, what it's doing. That's going to go in here. And obviously the bottom ones do need to go around the other way. I just don't know their purpose. I'm not going to tell them they have no purpose in life because that's just darn cruel. But I don't know their purpose. I don't understand their purpose, let's put it that way. So, grey showing to grey, basically. Like so. Easier to do it that way. Guys, easier to do it that way. Don't try and do it the way I was trying because it was silly. It was very pointless. Okay. Like so. And then it goes on like this. I just don't know why it's got that base bit on there. I thought it was going to go on the top here because that would make much more logical sense that it was a bigger frame, but it does not. It goes like this. Okay, before you leave this side, and this will be the last thing, we have to put this piece in, and we are going from this one to that one. So I would suggest, it doesn't go that way, that you line up and just do one at a time, gently, hopefully gently. One at a time, she says, as she's trying to do them all. I don't think any builder likes doing the the accordion pieces, by the way. Well, once it was lined up, it actually went in quite well. Okay, you have one spare of this and two to put in, so you have to be successful on getting one in. So I found it easier to go from the one where they're slightly wider apart than starting where I was trying where they're closer together. So when I do this side, which I'm going to do now, which is a step 55, I'm going to do that first, then we'll come back to this thing and I'll show you what I mean. So you've got two which are closer together here than compared, so the ones further apart go this side, one's closer together over here. So I found doing this one easier by doing the further apart ones and then pulling it around to go into the ones closer together, like so. This one didn't quite take. This one definitely doesn't feel like it's in properly. Let me have a look. And it definitely is not. There we go. That was dangerous. Okay, so greys facing each other. I'm just not really sure what the purpose of having these in are at all. It doesn't really add much. Make sure they're all way in and then put them in here. And that, my friends, is step 55 complete. So 5 more steps to go. We are on 41 minutes. So do we want to let this roll and get it finished? We only have 4 steps left. That said, one of them might be tough. So we're going to be placing this now on the model itself. Just had time to dry for all the bits I was doing, and it wants you to start with one side first, but I know, see these little pieces here, just literally those little grey dashes in between these wooden parts, that is to go over this part here somewhere, one on each side, probably down here somewhere. So that is one of the things to very much bear in mind. This, which is the front side, the windows are towards the back, so the archway is towards the front, so it's going to go on something like so. And I would imagine they're different size tabs. So what I'm going to do, no guarantee that this is going to work, is okay. Okay, the cathedral side is considered the front, by the way, for the purposes of this anyway. Am I just going dotty? Yes. No, I am not. I was expecting it to meet up with these ends, but wow, my steps fell off. I'm not going to worry about them. Not yet. We can worry about those in a little bit. So is this catching anywhere whatsoever? At the bottom. Am I just going daft? I feel like I'm really going daft right now. Okay, so it's getting hung up on something. That little shelf we put in, one I didn't particularly want to put in. Okay. Which makes me think that the shelf should have gone elsewhere. Because for this to go in here, shelf, sorry, I'm not sure you're even seeing that, needs to move forward. Just trying to work this out if there's anything else. I see that that's going to happen. So it's that very last piece, this piece here, that seems to be stopping it. Which makes me think if it went the other way, like this, it's still going to be in the same place though, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so I've got them on the end, and that's working. So I think this shelf is slightly tilted backwards, that's what I'm going to go with. So, like if I do that, then this piece here needs to go in the middle here, like so. That's all married up perfectly. Bottom's not on 100% by the way, so it might be married up perfectly, but that's not helping the bottom getting on. You can see that the bottom's not quite, well, maybe you can see. Anyway, I'm going to carry on and pretend it is for the moment, and then I'm going to roll this over. And turn it. Okay, everything seems to be slotted in quite nicely. I was actually dreading doing this, by the way. So my battery box isn't fully down, by the way. Okay. Got one side on. And the other side is also on. They're both on, guys. Oh, my concertina's come out. It's taken a knock. And then we've got to put those steps back in. I'll deal with the concertina in a minute, just making sure that this is in correctly. Feels nice and snug. So this has popped. I don't know if I can show you. the concertina at the top here that we put on opposite way, right back there, has popped out, so I'm just going to try and get that back in. Probably the one that I had trouble with in the first place. There we go, straight back in. It is very tight fitting, by the way. And just making sure that that piece is into I knocked one of the sides out. That's okay because it slightly missed. So the bit with the bell clock here has two ends to it. You need to make sure that they are going between those two sets of windows we made. Because if you don't, then they won't take. I guess this will be held together when we do the front, which will be the next part. Because it is really popping up. Let me get the clamp just for now. I'm going to clamp it together and then I can work out what it's catching on. Doesn't feel as if it is now that I've finally got them. Maybe it was the threat of them. Not even so sure that they're quite long enough. I don't think they are. Alright then. Right, the other side came out anyway. Okay. So it is this little clock tower part that's causing the problems. It would have been handy to have had clamps big enough for this, because I could have held one side together while doing that, so my pieces want to come off. It didn't look easy. I really was not looking forward to it. I almost want to glue it in. Okay, so this piece up here has come out. And they are all feeling kind of loose there. Should have probably glued them in, huh? Okay. Come here, you. Let's get you back in. I guess I'll get it back in when I come around that way. Okay, so let's try again. So this side was in, now it's out. Come forward a bit. And that arch with the bell is catching again. Oh, squeaky. And does this need to go forward? Yeah. Okay, that's in. And on this side, just need to get that clock tower up and in. That's in. Okay. A little clip holding the thing is coming loose again. Okay, we are done. Took a little bit of doing, but we have it on. So just be patient with that. The trick is, with my pointy stick. Stick the pointy stick. Haven't used it for a while. The trick is this little, I don't want to mess with it too much, but this little bell tower here has to slot in to both sides, and it's really tight fit. So you need to make sure those slot in, and then on the top, where we put those little red pieces on the sides, there is a gap for this to go in. I think I showed that to you when it was flat, the grey gap. But we are in. I was thinking I was going to have to start getting out the glue, so we're good. It fits. It's come off again, but I think that will happen until we get the front on. But it's there. Once we get the front on, it'll be a whole different story. It's come out again, actually, that clock tower. So it's the clock tower that causes all the problems. And, well, I'm going to get my steps in a minute. They can come in at the end. So if mine looks different to you, it's because I don't have my steps in. And there we go. So all you have to do is push it up. So if it's not in the right place, push it up and it will click in. And that is more likely, if you're having problems, to be where it is that piece. It could be that this back here is not going in where the single piece is, in between the single piece on that grey area. Like mine just fits. Okay, so hopefully I get the front on in 57, and that will solve it. We are putting on E9, which is another clock tower. What the heck? And it's going to be on the railway side. Hold together, fella. Let me go and get the piece. I'm going to pick up the rest of the pieces, and then we can do them all. Alright, let's get this finished. So I am going to do something a bit out of order, just so you know. So this is still very loose, but it's definitely in, so I'm not too worried. So we have this piece here, which I will be putting in, and that's going to slot into this side, so this will keep it in, or help keep it in. Double-sided, so it doesn't matter which side you go. And I hope your sides went in. I mean, I was expecting it to be a bit of a nightmare. I've had worse. I've had a lot worse. I've had a few lot worse. I'm just going to have this facing me for a second, just so I can line it up a bit better. So it's just slid a little bit out again. It's that middle arch, I tell you. There we go. Okay. So there we have that. So it's going to be open, I think, on that side. I think it's open on both sides. So next, what they want you to do is put the front on. So that's 57, is this little light, which is not too bad. It does help stabilise it. It's not 100% in, because this is definitely rebelling here. So let me see where that's gone wrong. could very well be, right, it's not the bar. It's definitely having a little bit of a rebel moment. It's not that. Oh, I think it's just not, it's me, it's not, just not lined up at the bottom. Alright, so anyway, what it wants you to do next is put this front on. But I'm going to, instead of doing 58, which is what that is, I'm going to go ahead and do 59, because it's put in these little pieces in here, like so, and I think it's just going to be easier to do with that front off rather than on. And it goes, I'd imagine, underneath this, like so. Trying to see how it goes. Yeah. So I'm just going to pop a bit of B7000 on each end and give it a wriggle. So like I said, I am now out of order. So when my timeline shows, it's going to say step 59, step 58, step 60. That's okay. Who wants to be traditional anyway, right? But it just makes sense to me to put this on while you can access it. But you put this front on, you're not really going to be able to access it at all. And just hold that in here. Not quite how I was trying to do it. As long as you make sure it's in and clear from the sides, you'll be okay. And to be honest with you, when you put that front on, it's going to push it back anyway. I'm going to go to the other side. My little archway's fallen off on this side now. Turn it over. And do, come on, don't stop playing up now. This arm probably wants to come out. I'll probably put glue on that if it keeps coming out. Like it keeps pinging. No reason. Just says no. And then I'm going to put this on here exactly the same as what I just did on the other side. Just make sure you put the glue on the right side. Do this. I'm going to pop a bit up here as well, because I noticed the other one, if it was going to, no, I did do it right. If it was going to bulge anywhere, it was going to be at the top here. Like so. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure why we couldn't have put this piece on when it was flat. Because all it does is go inside that accordion piece. Okay, now we are going to go back to step 58, where we are putting in the front. Like so. Not like how I was going to try and do it and have the white side showing. So hopefully it doesn't need glue, but let's see how we go. Okay, I'm going to try and tip it on the end and do it that way. Lights came on. They still work. Oh no. Should have just glued it down while I had it, huh? Okay. That said, it should all be in place. back to square one. Not quite square one, but close to. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue where this second arch, because it's in, the second arch is on this side. And then I'm also going to, well, I've done both sides and I've got it up, put some in on the bottom. Bottom in a second. Okay. Oh, I put my paper away, I was confident. Okay, that's fallen out. We'll deal with that in a moment. The other one's fallen out too. Just when we had it all so well. Just tightening these up. Don't know if I'm going to be able to put these back in, to be honest. Doesn't overly look very lined up anymore. This side's still in. Both of them. Okay, well, see what we can do. Okay, I'm going to try and get these ones back in. If I'm not successful, I'll just leave them out. Okay, so I am ready to put the side on again. So it's a little bit of effort, but a little bit of glue too, to keep things just in place where I want them. And even then, this one's still not there, but I think this is going to be rectified in a moment when we put this front on. So I am going to run some wood glue up here, and maybe some super glue down the bottom. As long as it's caught in one place, then it should hold together everywhere else. Right. I'm just going to put it on here. Put a little bit on here too, because we're going to be pushing that together. Okay. And it goes on quite nice. It's just not the click I would expect. Don't put your hand in the super glue and then hope that you don't stick to it, right? Okay, get the bottom bit done. I guess we might have to do super glue further up too. think it's got so much pushing against either side, it just makes it rather difficult. There we go. So let's see what we can do. Oh, heard a click. Hopefully that was a good click, not a terrible click. Oops. I'll start sticking to things. It's a tough fit, you know. Maybe I should have done super glue all the way up. Makes me wonder. Shouldn't need it really. But they're a bit looser, and to be honest with you, really this model has been quite the breeze. Right, I am going to super glue it all the way up, put on one side, get one side on, and then we will worry about the other side. Preferring wood glue, honestly. Sometimes you just have to go with it, right? I had it the wrong way up anyway. There you go, let's go with it wasn't meant to be. Right? Which is the right way, which is the wrong way? I think this is the right way. One side on, and then we will do the other. So this is going to be a long video. That's me. That's my skin, my DNA. It's quite a bit out, isn't it? I mean, if it clicked well, then I could see that it would make an effort to hold, but I like it that it's not too tight, because that could be problematic too, but probably not quite tight enough on these edges. You don't. Wish I had bigger clamps. I think leave this with me, guys, and I will get this sorted. I think I'm going to try and find little clips to put on these edges. Okay. While that does that, so I've just put the clamps on, 2 on each side. Hope it gives it the stability it needs. It could be, I'll tell you what, it might be catching on, I wonder. Where's my sticky thing? Could be catching on this. I think it is. Remember that thing they say, leave till last? That bit. I think it went behind the stairs on the left side. I think that might be my problem. There we go. Solved. Of course, when I put those in, I thought we were all secured. That was what was stopping it. So the stairs wasn't flat against the wall. This one isn't either, because these the little funny shaped things look like a what are they called, lollipop type thing, candy cane, those things. So when I put them on and then it all fell apart, it slipped behind the grand stairs here. So that's what was giving it hassle. This has fallen off again. I have to glue that. So to finish off step 59, I have glue all over me. We are going to pop on these two little signs, which are going to go, I think the clamps might be in the way, but they are going to go just by the stairs on either side, one on either side, and they are like direction signs. I'll show you. Kind of cool. Has a little, oh, where'd it go? Another light drop in it. So let's see, where is she? Oh, 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 don't fall off. Little arrows, kind of cool. So, oh, let me stand up for this. And these are just going to go on here, on either side of these stairs that have come out again. They're going to need gluing in, aren't they? Wouldn't it be that you have the arrows going the other way? One up and one down maybe. And they are too big for where I'm trying to put them. I think they're meant to be over here more actually. Oh dear. They're meant to be in the corners. Glue on there for nothing. So it's going to literally be where this clamp is. So we'll move this clamp. And then you'll be able to see where I'm putting them. And they're just going over here. Looking upwards. Maybe one should say up and one down. I actually don't know which way up they're meant to go. And they're the same part number. So I'm going to try and have it hanging over a bit. Making it for a very long video now. Like so. Alright, you move. Okay. Then another couple of pieces. So step 60, the last one, is going to have some little pillars. All this stuff. Too many tools around. And a rounded edge. This is actually going to go underneath those stairs that keep falling out, so maybe that'll stop them falling. It's going to go in like so. And I am going to put some glue on the bottom so it keeps towards the back actually of here. It can go underneath the stairs and that'll stop them falling out. It's the ones at the bottom. Okay. And those go literally in the front here and underneath. There we go. With a nice click, lights work. Like. Then last but not least, we have the little sign, which is going to go in the middle there. So I am going to face it towards me because I'm notorious for putting this sort of thing on crooked. I do it probably way more than I should. It's because I think they're straight. In my head they're straight. Okay. Stringy. You clean that glue, put that up there, and it goes around that way. It does have a mark on here, that's my fingerprint. And line it up with the yellow line here. Some glue on here as well. This side's at the back here, this side's quite loose, so we'll squeeze in some glue there, and then when it's standing on its end it will add enough pressure to do it. Right, and that is page 60, my friends, and the last step. I love it when they leave the sign to last, although it would be better. I've actually moved it off of sync. It'd be better for me if I actually put it on when it's flat, probably. I have a better chance of getting it straight. Okay. This should be fine. And let's have a look at what we have. So it wasn't without its problems at the end, but overall, it was an exceptional model. Right, let's see if I can get you zoomed out. Okay, and here we have the Railway Cathedral. Lights and, oh, other side. Tower outfit didn't work anymore. There we go. And so on the cathedral side, wow, look how bright that is. That is really bright. I think it helps the fact if you take off that plastic, by the way. I know they didn't tell you, and I know some of my things don't. Wow, it looks like it goes on forever, doesn't it, when you look at it through the bottom there? How cool is that? That's one long tunnel there. That's so awesome. Bulbs could have done a bit higher up, but you're not really going to see it. The bottom ones I'm talking about. But I think we're okay. How awesome is that? And that's one side. And then, my friends, we have the railway side as well. Wow. That's pretty magnificent, isn't it? So it was a pain to do those sides. Compared to the ease of the whole build, it was a bit of a pain in the butt. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I think it's fantastic. And I think it was worth the little bit of pain with this. Should have just glued it from the get-go, but I didn't, and so therefore I had to go with the pain. But like I say, I think it was awesome, and I think it lights up well. I will try and get a short together which shows it lit up better, with it being a bit darker, but it's late now, and if we want to put this up for tomorrow, then let's get it done. So let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, do please comment on it. I think it's a great little build. It's not the most expensive build I've ever had either, and it's quite fantastic, really. There we go, get a bit closer for you. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. So thank you very much for watching, and most of all, do take care of yourselves. That is really important. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate every subscriber and every person who comments on my threads. It means the world to me. You guys take care. Bye bye now.